You're not looking for information about Giuliani, are you?
Oh, I already know.
No, and you're not listening for information showing you that Hillary is a fraudulent 12-carat phony. You already know all of those things. So what exactly were you hoping to hear today on this show that you already heard?
Well, I'd like you to go deeper into the altering and how we can all alter our lives completely.
Good. All right, well, here's what I feel. Because this country is so divided and so distracted, I don't think we're going to win the war on Islamofascism. I think in the long term they're going to wear us down through attrition, and they know it. Bush is so foolish that he's bringing them in by the tens of thousands from Iraq and God knows where else, Africa, Iraq. We need more Muslims in this country who come here with a hatred for this country. Is he out of his mind? Why would he be bringing in tens of thousands of Muslims who believe in the self-sufficiency of the Quran, which is at loggerheads with the U.S. Constitution? Why? Why would he be doing that if he thought...
Yeah, I just don't understand this reasoning. I think...
Well, it's a country that's digging its own grave and the enemy knows it. Now, having said that, there's only one thing that can save this country. Only one thing. Not 100, not 10, not 10 fixes. There's only one. And that is this country turning back to its Judeo-Christian origins. And only when the people recognize that this country would never have existed had it not been for God and his belief in the people who came here, despite the horrors that were inflicted upon the Native Americans, despite all the horrors inflicted upon many others along the way, it was still the best choice at that time in the history of the world. There was no other choice and no other place for God to create his land. And now look where we've come several hundred years later. Take a look at it. Internet pornography, the children poisoned, drugs, sex, rock and roll, poisonous music, poisonous lyrics, the image of American womanhood debased to the level of just whipping themselves on Sunset Boulevard. Now, what kind of nation is this? Is this a nation God would want to survive? What does God want? What does God want of this nation? For him to wink at us and say you're on the right path.
But there are those of us that are standing on our principles, and there's many, many thousands, millions out there that are just like me.
Right, but you don't see you on the media. You're never represented on the media. You're never seen anywhere out there, are you? You're never reflected anywhere out there. It's only by coming together as a unity, and as a gigantic unity, and then become a gigantic entity from the unities into one entity, can we make a presence felt that will be heard in the heavens. And only then will God smile on America again. I believe that from the bottom of my toe to the top of the hair on my head. Nothing else can save this country but a turning back to religion. I believe that from the bottom of my heart. And let me tell you something, Rondi. If you think I'm a holy roller and a perfect man, I'm as flawed as anybody out there. I'm as imperfect and as conflicted as anybody listening to this show. Nevertheless, I know there's a higher power. I don't believe in a higher power. I know there's a higher power. And I also understand that that's the beginning and end of all things, and I didn't create myself. So I didn't create myself. What man thinks he created himself? What egotistical maniac thinks he comes from himself? But a narcissistic fool. And so once you understand that you didn't create yourself, but that God created you, and take it all the way back to the first human, you have to understand that there's another dimension. And at the end, there will be that other dimension that we all enter. With our imperfections, with our mistakes, with our flaws, with our lies, with our cheating, with our deceit, with whatever we've done, we're going to answer for it. And there's a whole scale of what we do wrong. You know that, and I know that.
100%.
Well, thank you for listening. I don't know what else to say. I want more tea.